Greetings. It's 10:39 p.m. on April 4th, 2021. I am making three readings from the book that I have before me, and I am going to post them in the subsequent days moving forward. I did something in the last video that was different, and I understood halfway through the reading why I did that. This book is over 100 years old. That means, insofar as there was a copyright on it, and 99 years of a general copyright have expired. Now, this particular book was printed in 2009, but we are in 2021. It makes a difference. So I will say the name of the book at the end of the reading. For the time being, we are on page 155, halfway through. Trust ramifications. But the potency of trust as a factor in financial concentration is manifested in still other ways, notably through their ramifying operations. This is illustrated forcibly by the General Electric Company's control of water power companies, which has now been disclosed in an able report of the United States Bureau of Corporations. Quote, "The extent of the General Electric influence is not fully revealed by its consolidated balance sheet. A very large number of corporations are connected with it through its subsidiaries and through corporations controlled by these subsidiaries or affiliated with them. There is a still wider circle of influence due to the fact that officers and directors of the General Electric Company and its subsidiaries are also officers or directors of many other corporations, some of whose securities are owned by the General Electric Company. The General Electric Company holds in the first place all the common stock in three security holding companies: the United Electric Securities Company, the Electrical Securities Corporation, and the Electric Bond and Share Company. Directly and through these corporations and their officers, the General Electric controls a large part of the water power of the United States. The water power companies in the General Electric Group are found in 18 states. These 18 states have 2,325,757 commercial horsepower developed or under construction. And of this total, the General Electric Group includes 939,115 horsepower, or 40.4%. The greatest amount of power controlled by the companies in the General Electric Group is any state is found in Washington. This is followed by New York, Pennsylvania, California, Montana, Iowa, Oregon, and Colorado. In 5 of the states shown in the table, the water power companies included in the General Electric Group control more than 50% of the commercial power developed and under construction. The percentage of power in the states included in the General Electric Group ranges from a little less than 2% in Michigan to nearly 80% in Pennsylvania. In Colorado, they control 72%, in New Hampshire 61%, in Oregon 58%, and in Washington 55%. Besides the power developed and under construction, water power concerns included in the General Electric Group own, in the states shown in the table, 641,600 horsepower undeveloped." End quote. This water power control enables the General Electric Group to control other public service corporations. Quote, "The water power companies subject to General Electric influence control the street railways in at least 16 cities and towns, the electric light plants in 78 cities and towns, gas plants in 19 cities and towns, and are affiliated with the electric light and gas plants in other towns. Though many of these communities, particularly those served with light only, are small, several of them are the most important in the states where these water power companies operate. The water power companies in the General Electric Group own, control, or are closely affiliated with the street railways in Portland and Salem, Oregon, Spokane, Washington, Great Falls, Montana, St. Louis, Missouri, Winona, Minnesota, Milwaukee and Racine, Wisconsin, Elmira, New York, Asheville and Raleigh, North Carolina, and other relatively less important towns. The towns in which the lighting plants, electric or gas, are owned or controlled include Portland, Salem, Astoria, and other towns in Oregon. Bellingham and other towns in Washington, Butte, Great Falls, Bozeman, and other towns in Montana, Leadville and Colorado Springs in Colorado, St. Louis, Missouri, Milwaukee, Racine, and several small towns in Wisconsin, Hudson and Rensselaer, New York, Detroit, Michigan, Asheville and Raleigh, North Carolina. And in fact, one or more towns in practically every community where developed water power is controlled by this group. In addition to the public service corporations thus controlled by the water power companies subject to General Electric influence, there are numerous public service corporations and other municipalities that purchase power from the hydroelectric developments controlled by or affiliated with the General Electric Company. This is true of Denver, Colorado, which has already been discussed. Baltimore, Maryland, a water power concern in the General Electric Group, namely the Pennsylvania Water and Power Company, sells 20,000 horsepower to the Consolidated Gas, Electric, Light, and Power Company, which controls the entire light and power business of that city. The power to operate all the electric street railway systems of Buffalo, New York, and vicinity, involving a trackage of approximately 375 miles, is supplied through a subsidiary of the Niagara Falls Power Company. And the General Electric Company, through the financing of public services companies, there was an end quote. Let me go back as part of the last line of the quote. The power to operate all the electric street railway systems in Buffalo, New York, and vicinity, involving a trackage of approximately 375 miles, is supplied through a subsidiary of the Niagara Falls Power Company, end quote. And the General Electric Company, through the financing of public service companies, exercises a like influence in communities where there is no water power. Quote, it or its subsidiaries has acquired control or an interest in the public service corporations of numerous cities where there is no water power connection, and it is affiliated with still others by virtue of common directors. This vast network of relationship between hydroelectric corporations through prominent officers and directors of the largest manufacturer of electrical machinery and supplies in the United States is highly significant. It is possible that this relationship to such a large number of strong financial concerns, through common officers and directors, affords the General Electric Company an advantage that may place rivals at a corresponding disadvantage. I'm in the middle of a quote. There's one more line. Finishes the quote. It finishes the section. I understand the logic. You can wait till Tuesday.